This is one of the biggest challenges when it comes to hybrid workshops, hybrid events. And if you're watching this right now and you're like, hybrid, what is this hybrid thing that you're talking about? Well, there is a big study that Microsoft did about employees going back into the office. And the really interesting thing is that they found out that there are some really interesting statistics. Let me actually share with you this right here. They say that the future is hybrid because of the 2020 mass work from home experiment. Now there's a lot of employees who want to continue working from home at least 2 days a week, 72%. That's a lot of people who've now realized, oh my God, I can get so much more work done being at home, where I don't have to spend time commuting into work, where I don't have to spend time being stuck in traffic or taking public transport, looking for parking, paying for lunches at restaurants, where I could just do all of that from home. And they don't want to give that away. And at the same time, 74% want the option to come in the office. So this basically means employees want two things. They want to work from home and they want to go to the office, which basically means that hybrid workplaces are the future. It's not just a new buzzword. It's unfortunately, for anybody who's running workshops, who's working with companies, who's facilitating, this is something we have to get good at really fast. Because here in Canada, we are going back to work. A lot of offices are reopening in September. My wife, she used to do catering for offices, for work meetings, and it was basically dead until she got a call 2 days ago from one of the big companies that does caterings for big offices downtown Toronto. And they said, okay, companies are going back in September. Are you ready to start doing caterings again? So it is happening. It is here. And we have to figure out what we can do about it, because running a hybrid event, a hybrid workshop, hybrid experience basically is running a virtual experience and a in-person experience at the same time, while you also want to make sure that all of your participants are included and don't feel like they're being left out. Because if you just create a in-person experience and don't think about the people, the participants that are virtual, they're going to have a very hard time engaging and feeling like they're part of the team. The same time, if you design the experience for virtual only, and then the people in the room can't contribute, or they weren't asked to bring their own device, so they can't participate in even the chat, and they're missing out on a lot of things. I think there will be a lot of FOMO happening in the future if we as facilitators, as leaders who bring people together, who work with groups, don't start to change some things. And I was titled this, what's the biggest challenge when it comes to hybrid? And I do have a video on my YouTube channel where I talk about the biggest challenge being the audio. But since then, I've actually changed my mind. And this is also what I saw the biggest challenge of in-person experiences, but hybrid will play a much bigger role. The biggest challenge is this, or this, or, hold on, this is the heaviest one, this. It is that we have to use technology even when we gather groups in person. Because if you've been following my work, you know that I love to have my participants create these cell phone sleeping bags. They're just padded envelopes, and we put our cell phone in at the beginning. And even when I work with organizations, I usually have them do that as the first thing, because as soon as the phone is away and not in your vicinity, you don't think about it, you can focus on actually talking to people, on making eye contact, on being connected and being present in the conversations. And when the pandemic happened, I'm like, oh my God, now we have to use these things to stay connected to each other. Is that even going to be possible? And somehow we found a way to do it. And when I facilitate, I make sure that everybody is present, and we're going to use these tools with intention. But now there were in person, we're going to be around people, yet we might need a device to still stay connected to the participants that are online. It's going to be a big challenge. I'm already seeing myself going like, okay, so I want to answer a question in the chat or chat with the people online. So I'm going to be on my phone while I'm also talking to someone. And that's just going to create all of these awkward moments where somebody's like talking to you and then suddenly your phone buzzes and you pick it up and you start replying to it, and it just makes people feel unimportant, ignored, invisible. And I think that's actually going to be the biggest challenge of how we're going to integrate the technology to the in-person parts in a way that everybody feels included and they can communicate with everyone also online, but at the same time it doesn't turn into this distraction, this obstacle between you and me who are in the same room together. So I've decided that I will be holding a workshop on exactly that topic if there's enough interest. So if you're watching this video and you think this might be interesting for you to attend, please let me know in the comments. And if there's enough comments, I'll put together a workshop. And I'm even thinking of making that workshop a bonus where I might even bring in some experts who've been leading hybrid meetings and workshops for a very long time and make that a bonus for my upcoming virtual facilitator training, because this is what's coming up in September. I need to update this slide, because if you're looking at this, this is the outline of the 5 weeks of my virtual facilitator training. We're talking about virtual experience design, creating psychological safety. One of the things that Google has found out makes high-performing teams. And I think it's really important whenever you want to have real, deep, vulnerable conversations or do activities and exercises that are actually transformational in your events. Week 3, Secret Zoom Hacks, is actually morphing a little bit and will now be called Secret Engagement Tools, because I will not just talk about Zoom exclusively. I have someone that I talked to today who has to work with organizations that they're using Microsoft Teams and they don't have a lot of the features that Zoom has, or people who need to facilitate with apps and platforms that don't allow any videos being on, where all you have is the chat. So I'll be talking about different engagement tools that you can use. Doesn't matter if you're on Zoom or if you're not on Zoom, and I'm really excited about that update. It will help so much more people that are creating these magical human moments on a virtual in a virtual environment. And then scaling connection and intimacy. This is still the topic that is very dear to my heart, because when participants feel connected to each other, they'll be so much more engaged in the content. They'll be so much more effective in the work that they do, in collaboration, creativity, you name it. And of course, week 5, the elements that make your experiences magical. I'm basically trying to re-engineer what happens when in person you have a magical human moment. Those are the moments that you almost feel like you can't plan, right? Like they just happen spontaneously. You have a conversation maybe in the hallway and you connect with someone and you just hit it off, and you're in flow, you forget everything, time moves really fast. In a virtual space, I usually say it's the time where you forget that you're looking at the screen because you feel so connected, you're so in the moment with the other people that you're talking to, and you almost have to engineer it, because it does not, unfortunately, happen naturally, especially on a platform like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, where you can't just have these one-on-one conversations in the hallway. They just don't happen naturally. So we need to engineer those. So that's something that I'm really excited about in my training. Like I said, next cohort is starting on September the 2nd. There is currently some early bird pricing that will expire in, I think, 2 weeks. So if you have any questions about that, let me know in the comments below. And again, if you're interested in this hybrid workshop idea, let me know as well. I would love to put this together, but only if there's actual demand for it. Like, are you already doing hybrid workshops, hybrid events? Are you thinking about it? Let me know. and hopefully I get to hang out with you either in person or on Zoom very soon. Bye everyone.